Hello, kamusta po sa iyong lahat? And thank you for allowing me to provide a little bit of insight on the implications of a 670 megawatt coal-fired power plant. My name is Rudolph Santaromana, and to introduce a little bit about myself, I have studied energy in a global context, doing research and work in Africa, the US, and in Europe. Today I speak to you with the goal of imparting some of the knowledge that I have gained in my graduate studies in energy engineering. I will discuss how the implications of the proposed coal power plant in Luna are not localized only to the vicinity of Luna, but are also of concern to our neighbors in other towns in northern Luzon. I am a grandson of ex-mayor Timoteo Santaromana from Luna, La Union, and thus the implications of this plant and the health of my family who live there are of great concern for me personally, but also from a common sense point of view, it should be of concern to us all. Today's presentation will be very brief and cover the following topics. If you would like to know more about the geopolitical, economic, or further information about the environmental impacts, I can refer you to the previous presentations that I've prepared. Now, to begin, here is a short video that summarizes some of the aspects of a coal power plant.
Ang Pilipinas ay merong 8 coal-fired power plants. Isa dito ang aming pinuntahan. Isa itong coal-fired thermal power plant na gumagawa ng kuryente na may voltahe na 735 megawatt. Kumukonsumo sila ng tinatayang 4,000 hanggang 5,000 metric tons ng coal sa isang araw.
Ang pagpilaw ay kinontrata ng National Power Corporation. Ito ay nagpo-provide ng supply sa buong Luzon.
Paano nga ba ginagamit ang coal sa paggawa ng kuryente? Ang coal ang nagsisilbing panggatong ng mga planta upang painitin ang tubig sa tinatawag na boiler. Ang high temperature steam na inilalabas ng mainit na tubig ang nagbibigay ng pressure na nagpapaikot sa mga turbina na nagpapaikot sa electric generator na gumagawa ng kuryente.
Ang ating kuryente, dinadala natin sa tinatawag nating WESM, yung pong Wholesale Electricity Spot Market. Na yun po ay isang market ng mga produkto ng mga power plant operators. From the WESM, ito po ay kinukuha ng ating mga power distribution companies like ng Meralco at saka iba pang mga kooperatiba. So yan po ang nagiging outline kung paano tinutulak at sinusuklay ang produkto ng mga power plants papunta sa ating mga consumers.
Ang power plant mix po by fuel type for 2011, batay po doon sa aming data, natural gas po ang nag-provide ng 58.5% ng supply. Sinundan po ito ng coal na nasa 28.4%.
Bukod sa nagmimina tayo ng sarili nating coal, bumibili rin tayo sa ibang bansa tulad ng Indonesia at Vietnam.
Mga ginagamit nating material, metal, ay gumagamit ng enerhiya para mamina, para ma-convert from minerals to metals.
Sa Palawan, binisita ni Doc Nielsen ang Coral Bay Nickel Corporation kung saan pinoproseso ang nickel. Dito, gumagamit din sila ng coal mula sa Indonesia.
Gano'n ka-importante ito sa operation nyo dito sa nickel production? Yung fuel namin sa boiler. Paano nyo sinisindihan to? Naglalagay kami ng gatong, kahoy. Kahoy muna. Yung kahoy sinisindihan namin after nag-apply nitong coal. Gano'n ka-tagal bago maubos to pag nagbaga na ito? Depende po sir sa may contract kasi kami. Contract sa isang araw, umubos kami ng 6 hanggang sa 7 maximum. Contract, 7 tons yung isang contract.
Ang coal ay ginagamit sa power plant. Ito ito ginagamit din sa produksyon ng semento at marami pang iba.
Napaka-importante yung quality ng coal na ginagamit dito dahil ito palang coal, meron siyang sulfur content. So, ang pinili ng refinery na ito ay yung mababang sulfur content. At saka yung quality niya, no? Hindi mabasag. Kasi kailangan mga 2 inches lang ang diameter para papagayin siya.
Ang coal ang tinatawag na dirtiest fuel o panggatong na maaaring gamitin dahil sa mataas na carbon dioxide na inilalabas nito sa sunog.
Coal, when you burn it, when you use it as fuel to burn, emits gases, particularly large portion CO2. Pagka nasobrahan ito ay nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na greenhouse effect. So yung heat na pinuproduce natin bounces back to the earth.
So, to return, the proposed power plant will be 670 megawatts, providing enough electricity for about 5 million Filipinos, and utilizing massive amounts of fresh and seawater every day, as can be seen here in the lower part. From this highlighted portion of the environmental impact study, shown here in this box, they will burn about 5,112 tons of coal every single day. A truly massive amount. To compare the size of the plant from the video we just saw, this plant in Luna is about going to be enough for 5 million Filipinos, whereas the one in the video was for about 2 million Filipinos. Thus, the plant in Luna will be about 150% larger. To give you a sense of the emissions produced by this plant, here is a schematic of how a typical cleaning technology is implemented in a coal power plant. The burnt coal is the burnt exhaust from the coal is pushed through several cleaning stages before it's released up the stack, or the exhaust pipe of the plant. Assuming the proposed plant will utilize the best available technologies in the world, the emissions would result in those given here in the corner. And these emissions would result every single year. Now, these numbers in the millions of tons are really big numbers, so to put these into perspective, let's compare them to the emissions of a diesel truck, which has the same constituents in its exhaust. These four here: carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter. Now imagine a diesel truck traveling round trip from Luna to Manila and back, which is about 600 kilometers round trip. And the exhaust emissions of that one truck doing this trip every single day, 365 days a year. Now, I would need a fleet of over 12,000 of the highest emitting, dirtiest diesel trucks doing this every single day to get 1.5 million tons of nitrous oxide, which will be coming out of the plant. These emissions cause very dangerous health risks, as mentioned in the video, and millions of deaths. Particulate matter, or PM as shown here, is very fine debris, about 20 times smaller than a human hair. When it's inhaled, this debris irritates and cuts the lungs and cannot be removed. We will be releasing these constituents into the air, affecting the residents of Luna's residents, neighboring municipality residents, and the entire northern region of the Philippines, as these particular particles are carried far away from the plant. This image demonstrates the dispersion mechanism. You can see how the stack here, shown in the bottom left, the plume of smoke rises and the prevailing winds carry it far, far downwind, a distance from the plant, some tens of kilometers away. These emissions can also cause acid rain after going through reactions in the atmosphere, which, for the sake of time, I cannot discuss in detail, except to say that it affects agriculture and, of course, human and animal health. Some of the effects are written here at the bottom of this slide. Now, this next video summarizes a few more of the health effects of coal.
It's hard to believe that nearly 40% of our country's electricity still comes from coal, a dirty, outdated energy source. Coal not only causes health problems, but it's also the main contributor to climate disruption. Just how bad is coal? In mountaintop removal mining, coal companies clear-cut forests and literally blow the tops off mountains to get the coal. This process dumps millions of tons of waste into our streams and poisons our drinking water. But mining coal is only the beginning. Burning coal generates smog, which can cause asthma attacks, chest pains, and breathing problems. In fact, 1 out of 10 children in the U.S. suffers from asthma, and it's the #1 reason kids miss school due to illness. The pollution from burning coal leads to 12,000 emergency room visits and more than $100 billion in health costs every year. Coal pollution also contains toxic mercury that damages the nervous system and is especially dangerous for babies and young children because it can cause developmental problems. Mercury rains down into our oceans, rivers, and lakes, contaminating our fish and seafood. And even after coal is burned, the waste that's left over is bad for our health. Each year, coal plants generate more than 140 million tons of toxic waste called coal ash that's stored in thousands of pits across the country. Enough toxic waste to fill more than 400,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Living near a toxic coal ash pit can be worse for kids' health than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. The good news is that the United States has become an international leader in reducing carbon pollution, largely because we are retiring coal plants and replacing them with clean, renewable energy nationwide. The amount of electricity America gets from wind and solar power has more than doubled in the past few years. Iowa and South Dakota are already getting more than 20% of their energy from wind power, and in 2012, 10 states got more than 10% of their energy from wind. Coal is making us sick, and it's time to make this toxic, outdated energy source history. Let's create a clean energy future for our country and for our kids. Let's move beyond coal.
As mentioned in the video, bottom ash contains very highly toxic chemicals, including mercury, cadmium, and arsenic, hence the need for properly lined ash ponds to contain them. The plan for ash handling for this plant in Luna includes an ash pond that will be able to hold 186,000 tons of ash based on a 5-year storage capacity and the huge amount of coal that they will burn daily, as I mentioned earlier, about 5,000 tons of coal daily. This quantity of ash is a huge environmental risk, and it can leach into the ground, be carried by precipitation, or, in the worst case scenarios, I encourage you to look up the Kingston coal ash spill. For the sake of time, I will not go into detail except to show you this image of the aftermath of this ash spill which occurred in the U.S. This plant size closely resembles the size and scale of the one that will be in Luna. So imagine this spilling into the sea. Now these are only a few of the many concerns with the coal power plant, and indeed, this is only a very brief discussion on them. To summarize this brief presentation, the emissions from this plant will reach great distances, and these types of emissions are directly linked with millions of premature deaths worldwide. This plant may not be in your backyard, however, the environment is not a closed system, and effects to agriculture and wildlife in one region will have direct and indirect effects in far-reaching areas. Coal is in fact the dirtiest source of energy and the opposite of the pledges made by the Philippine government to its citizens and to the world. If this plant is accepted, it will only be a matter of time until the next one is proposed much closer. And therefore this is a fight not only for the citizens of Luna, but for all Filipinos and all citizens who care about the future of their children, their health, and the world that they will inherit. Thank you for your attention. Mabuhay, and God bless us all. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Here are a few references which I used in this presentation, and thank you again for your attention, and have a great day.